Hey guys, welcome to today's lesson. We're looking at revision of ratios. So we've already done some work this year on ratios, so hopefully we can remember this. You might remember looking at fractions, and we were saying that fractions can be written as ratios, like one part to two parts, and they can be simplified just the same way as fractions. So for example, if we had 12 over, let's say 18, which was the same as sort of 12 to 18. If that was a fraction, we could just put in our calculator as a fraction, or we could look at what number goes into both. For example, divide both numbers by 6 and say 6 goes into 12 twice, 6 goes into 18 three times. And that goes the same thing for our ratios. We can put it here as 2.3, and you can do that via the calculator, as long as you make sure you remember to put it back into a ratio form, not a fraction form, because otherwise you'll get the question wrong. But not using a calculator, guys, it's the same sort of format. Making sure too that they need to be in the same units. So for example, if you had 50 cents to, let's say, $3, okay, you got opportunities here. You could turn them both to 50 to cents. So 50 to 300, cross a zero off. We've now got 5 to 30. 5 goes into 5 once, 5 goes into 30 6 times. We've got the ratio of 1 to 6. Likewise, though, you could have put them both into dollars, so 0.5 and to 3, and then double each of them, 1 to 6. But again, you could put that into your calculator even as 0.5 over 3, and your calculator will come up with 1/6. But again, as long as you write as that sort of fraction there, as that ratio, that's the most important thing. So we're going to go through these questions and see how much you remember. So maybe pause it, have a crack at these questions. Make sure you write these questions in your book, please, and see how you go. Okay, so if you put in your calculator, you should get the answer straight away. Otherwise, you probably recognize that 3 goes into 15 5 times, 3 goes into 9 3 times. Therefore, our answer is 5.3. You can put 2.5 over 8 in your calculator. Otherwise, a nice easy way would be to double both. Double 2.5 is 5. Double 8 is 16. Therefore, our answer is 5.16. Some of you might actually times it by 10 by moving the decimal point, which means you get 25 to 80. And then 5 goes into 25 5 times, 5 goes into 80 16 times. It's still the same answer, so it's not a bad way of doing it as well. The next one, let's have a look. We've got 3 centimeters to 5 millimeters. Okay, this is the question where we need to make sure they're in the same units. So you can put them in both millimeters if you wish. So 30 millimeters to 5 millimeters, which would then break it, dividing it by 5, 6.1. You could put it in as 3.0.5 because 10 millimeters, so there are 10 millimeters in a centimeter, which then, doubling it gives us 6 to 1. So, or timesing it by 10 gives us that answer there. Just be careful if you're putting that into your calculator as 3 over 0.5, you'll get the answer of 6, not 6 over 1. Your calculator won't do that. So if you just get a whole number, remember that as a fraction would be over 1, therefore can be written as 6.1. Okay, the next one is where you may need some help with. Remember that when we're dividing an amount into a ratio, what we're sort of looking at is that we're going to have 2 equal amounts on one side, and we're going to have 3 equal amounts on the other side. Now you can do box methods if you like. In this case, we're trying to put the same amount of money in each of those 5 boxes, or each of those boxes there. It has to be the same amount. So for example, if I put $10, $10, $10, $10, $10, that would be $20 to $30, which make $50, not the 85, so it can't be $10. So how could we do that? Well, you might say, well, there are 5 boxes, or we'll say 5 parts, and that equals $85 altogether. So if I want to find just what's in one of those boxes, or one part, I simply need to divide it by 5 because there's 5 equal pieces there, or 5 equal boxes. So if I do 85 divided by 5, we're going to get 17, which means that there are $17 in each of those pieces. So 17 times 2 is going to be $34. And then 17 times 3 will be the remainder, which will be $1 and $51. So we get $34 on one side, $51 on the other side. If I add them together, that gives us our $85 like we saw at the beginning. Okay, let's have a look at the next one. So again, maybe pause this one, have a go at this one yourself. So this one we've got 3 boxes, then we've got 5 boxes, and then we have 2 boxes, which means altogether we're trying to figure out how much money goes into a total of 10 boxes, or 10 parts, or 10 shares. So 10 parts equals $120, which means that if I'm looking for one box or one part, if I divide that by 10, because there's 10 of them, we get $12, which means that there is $12 in each of those boxes. So in the 3 boxes there, we've got 3 12s of $36. In the 5 boxes, 5 times 12 is $60. And then the 2 boxes, we get $24. And if I add those together, we end up making the $120. Awesome. Okay, and the last one, folks, is slightly different. A rope was divided into 3 pieces in the ratio of 2 parts to 7 parts to 3 parts. That's 12 parts altogether. If the largest piece, well, that would be the largest piece, the 7 parts there, was 21 meters long, find the length of the rope. Well, this time, they haven't told us what all of those parts are going to equal. They have told us what 7 parts equals. 7 parts equals 21. 21 meters. Therefore, if I want to find out what's just in one of those boxes or one part, I'm going to divide it by 7 to get 3 meters of rope. So 1 part equals 3 meters of rope. So now I've got the option of, I can say 2 parts equals 6 meters. The 7 parts we had originally is 21 meters, and the 3 parts is going to equal 3 3s are 9 meters. Therefore, if I total that together, we get 9 plus 1 is 10, 30, we get 36 meters of rope. Now, the other option I have there, you might recognize, is that if I know that I've got 12 parts altogether, well, I want to find out what the whole amount is. I can just times that by 12 to get the 36 meters, and that way I'll get the answer a little bit quicker than I did beforehand. So look, this is just a very basic rendition of what ratios are and the things that we do with ratios, and simplifying and dividing and those types of things. Have a crack at the questions that you're doing today, see if this makes a bit of sense to you, and hopefully you're getting those questions right. Any problems, folks, please drop me an email and I'll see how we can get on.